This manga is actually a lot more decent than I thought it was gonna be. But sometimes when you see these new Jump titles, you kind of get scared, but you know, you gotta go through with it because we're always looking for that gem. Enter Martial Master Asumi. We're following the story of Nito Asumi, who is a second-year high school student, and his grandfather, Baku Asumi. They're taking care of him, slowly losing it ever since the grandfather's son, which is Nito's dad, died. But it's been 7 years since then. And Nito, funny enough, wants to be your average like high school student, right? That's his whole thing. I want to be an average high school student. He's into girls with glasses, and he's also getting bullied. What does this sound like to you guys, right? Kind of reminds you of Kenichi. Kenichi was always getting bullied, picked on because he was a shrimp, because he always wanted to be something, but he couldn't be that because obviously he didn't have the training, and then he ends up meeting Miyu. But the glaring difference here is that Kenichi did not want to be weak. Like, he didn't choose just to be weak. Nito is choosing to be weak, but for various circumstances, right? There's specific reasons as to why. So he gets bullied and stuff. His homie Yuya, they've been close for a little while, and the usual bullies who pull up, right? They always try to take money from him. They just want to use them and stuff like that. You got a boxer and stuff. It's setting up for the usual, like, I'm gonna reverse this on the bully circumstance, right? I will say though, as the story goes on, you kind of pick up on a few things. For instance, when they talk about the fight that went on that night and you see the guy who won, right? Like, you see the champion, kind of looks like Nito in a way from like the backside of the hair. I made this assumption just based on the cover. So if you guys look at the cover page, you see the champion, you see Nito, and you see the grandfather. So I'm assuming at this point that, you know, his brother is the champ. And we'll get into even more of a reason later on. So let's continue with the chapter, right? As he's walking, he's talking about how his life is barely hovering at average. He doesn't want to stand out so that way he could just chill. He ends up running into now Okiba, and it's the girl of his dreams, a cute girl with glasses, and she wants to be a pro MMA fighter. She noticed how he just rolled after he got knocked down. You know, he just rolled a solid roll, right? As if he's been training. And as he goes home, he ends up training with his grandpa, right? This is where his grandpa's dementia like clears up and shit, and he still thinks that Nito is Kazuro, right? It's setting up for some shit. And then he asks his grandpa about MMA, and they go over that, and then you see that his grandpa's like, I'm the best. We find out that his grandpa knew martial arts, which was obvious, you know? It was kind of obvious based on the things that you see from Nito throughout the story. He's been training Nito ever since he was a kid. You got all these family members who don't want to help out other than the eldest sister, who is a baddie, by the way. I'm here for it. I'm kind of here for the elder sister. Her name is Ray. And since she works at home, she found it easier to help Nito, you know, take care of grandpa. That's like one of the only reasons that he didn't really want to get into fighting, is because he wanted to take care of his grandfather. And you end up coming to find out that he feels like it's his fault. And he goes on to say something that was really interesting, which leads to his brother being some sort of like martial arts master. He says, it's whatever. Unlike my deadbeat brother, I don't have any aspirations. So that's kind of why, again, that I point to his brother being the guy on the cover, and the guy who Yuya, his best friend, really, really likes. But the sister goes on to say, I don't want you doing this out of guilt. I told you before, grandpa's dementia isn't your fault, you know? And he feels like because 7 years ago, and this was around when his pops died, we come to find out that his dad died in a car accident, right? And it broke Nito, saying things along the line like, strong people still die, so I don't need to be strong. I don't need it. And he felt like it was at that moment that his grandpa just like lost it all. So him and his homie Yuya, they're on their way back home, and then of course here comes the bullies yet again, trying to snatch some cash from our MC. But now is on the train recording it, saying things like, oh, you guys training to be Yakuza wannabes? And she is about to get ready to go to town on him, bro. I seen the kick form. I was like, all right, I see where this is going. Again, reminds me of Kenichi in a way, because obviously she's not Miyu. There's nobody who's like Miyu. Miyu was so sick. She was cool as hell. But this kick was about to knock this bully straight on the floor. I was hyped. But then Nito gets in the way. This was like one of my gripes with what was going on. I'm like, come on, man. It ain't no way you jumping in the way just because you don't want things to escalate. It got to me, man. It got to me. So they end up at Nao's father's gym. right? He's the gym rat. And that's the reason that she's been training to go pro. This was big for Yuya because he wanted to join this gym anyway. We got Nito vouching for his boy, letting Now know, like, look, man, Yuya wants to learn this because he honestly appreciates the sport. And she's like, it's almost as if you're applying, right? It's like you're trying to apply for him. So they go through the whole training regimen, right? She's going through giving all the details on just what MMA is, things that you could do, arm bars, all that good stuff, right? Like things you need to know for fighting. And Nito is just being Nito, man. He's being too timid, throwing random punches that don't even matter. And then we end up finding out the real reason why he is the way he is. And it's because of Yuya. They used to treat Yuya so bad no matter where he went, no matter what Yuya did, he was always the pushover. He said it was all coincidence, but I don't think it is. He stepped in unconsciously knowing that he was going to take Yuya's spot because he wanted Yuya to enjoy his life, right? And I think this is still coming off the heels of the regret that harbors within Nito about his grandfather, right? It just makes sense. So now is looking for him because Yuya left the shirt or something. But I think she was just looking for him on the off chance that she finds out about his grandfather because she heard that his granddad was a martial artist and she was like, a martial artist named Asumi? Nah, no way. Right? Like I just created a flashback moment in a video, which is pretty funny. It's something that I've always wanted to do, right? Like just flashback to some stuff that happened that I didn't tell you about yet. Sort of like how they do in anime and stuff. But anyway, she ends up running into Nito and the wannabe gangsters, bro. And they're about to bully him. They're about to try to take him on. And then all of a sudden, the main character energy kicks in. This is where he goes ape shit, right? Like this is tight. This is tight for me because it's like, it's unconsciously. Like he does this unconsciously. You see it in his face. His eyes have just gone white, showing all sorts of flashes of greatness. All the years of training that his grandpa gave him, he went ham. And as y'all can see, Now is enjoying this shit to the fucking fullest. You see her face down here, bro? And Now has to stop it because Nito is literally about to break his arm, bro. He's so wrapped up in wanting to finish this that he didn't even think about, oh man, I'm about to break his arm. And Now goes on to just give her like explanation on all the stuff that was happening, like talking him up, talking a good game. But this is what was cool for me, right? This is what was cool for me, that he said my heart didn't stop pounding even after I got home because it was his first ever street fight, right? And Grandpa already knows, bro. He was like, I'm sorry I'm late, Grandpa. And he was like, you fought? Huh? I can tell. Did you win? I think so. I see. And how was it crushing your opponent? Felt good, didn't it? The cool part about that is like, you know, he said his grandpa is lucid during training. But I feel like this is going to help his grandpa overcome this dementia thing, right? If that's what it is. I think he's on the road to becoming the strongest. I am tuned in, bro. I'm tuned in. But there's something that I wanted to talk about before we got into this. Like I said, I feel like the dude that's on this cover, by the way, I put this in Photoshop so that way the cover could be whole. I feel like this dude is the brother, right? Like this is the brother to Nito. He might be like some final boss type stuff. Obviously, I'm not too sure, but it's looking like that's gonna be the way. By the way, the guy that made this manga is the one that made some sumo manga before. And I seen a bit of the anime. What was this, 2018, 2019, I think? And it was kind of entertaining. I liked it. But this is right up my alley because, like I said, it gives me strong Kenichi vibes. And it's something that I can get behind. We're gonna be supporting this until it ends, man. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought about Martial Master Asumi down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. I'm sorry if this video seems like it took so long, but I had a lot of explaining and kind of wanted to talk in detail about the things that happened in the chapter. Again, y'all should go check this out. Y'all can read it on Manga Plus Weekly or Shonen Jump if you want. Links in the description, all of that good stuff. And with that being said, it's your boy, DomoSenpai, and I will catch you guys in the next video.